Hi guys, my name is Nico, and this is what I've been up to this week.
And as night falls, the sky nurses its bruises, and I grow tall, tall as the moon. Keep an eye over the small things and walk with the rhythm of all things. Beyond that circle, beyond the cycle of growth is letting go.
So, first things first, the two records that I've been listening to over the last week are Fateless by Cold Rain and Kingdom of Dreams by Brandon. So, Cold Rain are a metalcore slash sort of hard rock band from Nagoya in Japan. They've been around for quite a while, since like 2007 ish. But they're really great. If you haven't heard of them before, definitely go check them out. You'll find them on Spotify and Apple Music and stuff like that. So Fateless just came out sort of at the end of last year, and it's pretty much a linear sort of continuation of their sound. There are no big surprises on the record, but the production is really on point. Like it's the guitars and the drums are absolutely sizzling, and it's really very heavy. But there's also some really good melodic bits in there as well. It does something which I feel has started to become more consistent of a number of these modern sort of post-hardcore and metal bands, which is the instrumentation in a big way takes a backseat to the singing. David Hayakawa, I think his name is. The singer has a lot of personality in his voice. You know, his screams and his singing have gotten a lot better since the last record. But to me, the instrumentation just sounds a bit. It's hard to hear the personalities of the other guys in the band coming through. That's probably also due to the fact that I don't really know the other members of the band that well. But it's just sort of an observation. This seems to happen a lot more as bands get more produced. I kind of feel the same thing about bands like Bring Me the Horizon, for example. But yeah, it's a great record. There are some big hooks on there. I like the single a lot, Feed the Fire, but they have an absolutely amazing cover of Uninvited by Alanis Morissette on there, which I think is just like the pinnacle of the record. So you should definitely check out that song if you only have time to listen to one. Kingdom of Dreams is quite a different record to the Cold Rain one. Brandon's been around releasing music on Bandcamp since about 2013, and he makes beautiful, chill jazz, hip hop, mostly instrumental stuff. Go and check him out. Support him on Bandcamp if you like. So, Kingdom of Dreams is really falls into this genre that I have started to call nostalgia hop. It's essentially a bunch of remixes of music from the soundtracks to Miyazaki films. So if you've seen any of Miyazaki or Studio Ghibli's work and you enjoy the soundtracks, you're just this will be a very easy record to enjoy. I especially like how there's a real skill remixing this kind of stuff when the original is such a cultural phenomenon and the original compositions are so great. They're just so well arranged. There's a real skill in deciding what parts to chop out, which parts to repeat, and changing that overall structure and arrangement, but bringing something new and also keeping the original sort of flavor of the song. So he's just done an amazing job, and you'll be able to sort of relax and let go if you listen to that one. My favorite track is definitely the first one, which is A Gentle Whisper. So, you might have heard me talking last week about getting a new guitar sort of in the interim while my Aristides one is being made. Well, here it is. It's an LTD TE417, so you can, if you count the strings there, there's 7 of them. And so basically it's like a white Telecaster shape. It's got that nice sort of black binding around the top. It's pretty thick, honestly. Like, it's quite large and heavy. It's definitely larger than a normal Telecaster body. But the neck on this thing is beautiful. It's super thin, and after a decent amount of tweaking, I was able to get sort of the action down really low, which I love about these kind of instruments. To be honest, the factory setup was not great. The pickups, which are EMGs in this thing, were so high up that through my audio interface, just strumming an open chord was clipping with the gain all the way down. So the lowest possible gain I could put on, it was already clipping. So I, lowered the height of the pickups, adjusted the truss rod, adjusted the action and the intonation on the bridge, and now we're sort of in business. And also, see this 3-way switch? It just comes off really easily, so I have to be careful when I, change pickups that I don't just throw it somewhere. But in terms of the specs, yeah, it's just two of the definitely the cheaper EMGs. I can't ever remember the numbering scheme. Standard kind of hardtail bridge, tone, volume, 3-way switch. Obviously, you need the little battery thing on there. It's a set neck. It looks like a through neck, but I'm pretty sure that it's glued in there. And obviously, you've got the whole string through thing, which essentially the strings hook through the body this way and get anchored into the other side. Rather, they go through this way and get anchored in this side, and it apparently helps this sustain a decent amount. The nut slot was not... Like, these nut slots have not been cut fantastically, and I'm probably going to have to get them redone, but it's a relatively minor thing to do. Yeah, overall, it's great. It's just really great guitar for the price. It's not that expensive at all. One thing that I do have a complaint about that can you see this? It's basically like the way that this heel is designed here, the neck heel, it actually gives like really quite poor access to the 24th fret. Like, this could easily have just been a 22 fret guitar. It probably would have made more sense, to be honest, to finish the fretboard up there. But yeah, I'll play some stuff for you. You can hear how it sounds. So if we just start out with some sort of clean stuff on the neck pickup, tone and volume both fully up, with some pre-EQing, it actually sounds really good. You can obviously hear that it responds a bit to the pick attack, like when it's... It's not just like super compressed, the same sound the whole way through, so there is quite a bit of dynamic range. And the top notes, like... They're not too ice picky. They've got quite a nice flat response to them. So now this is kind of the middle pickup selection. I think with this wiring and with EMGs generally, it's just both of them on at the same time. Although please correct me if I'm wrong about that. But it you can hear it's got a little bit more of that almost single coily kind of bite to it. It actually sounds especially good played with your fingers. which is pretty surprising. Yeah, you could honestly get I never thought this before, but you could probably get a decent kind of jazz sound out of EMGs. The bridge pickup, clean. Let me just turn off this. No, should be fine. As you'd expect, it just sounds pretty bridge pickup-y. That's with me digging in quite hard. Big chords though, on the neck pickup do tend to get a little bit boomy down the lower end. I don't know if you can hear it through the camera, but like especially if you're playing a chord across, you know, all 7 strings, it's you lose a bit of the note definition in there. So the 3 pickup selections do sound quite different from each other. And of course, with a bunch of gain on it, they're EMGs. It's pretty predictable, you know. It's super crunchy. You know, so if you want to play stuff with a lot of gain, I don't know, EMGs are always a good pick because they sort of, it makes less of a difference what the guitar is actually made of, the woods and the resonance, because they sort of flatten out the frequency response a bit. But they sound really good, honestly. Like even that low B is like super tight, despite the fact that this is only a 25 and a half inch scale. So it's a bit short, and the bottom B string does tend to get a bit flappy, but if you're into that like gent stuff, that kind of thing, you know, it sounds great for this stuff. I'm going to do a full review of this guitar, including probably some lead stuff. I just haven't set up a gain lead tone, so yeah, I'll post a full review in a bit, but hope you guys are going well, and I'll see you next week.